Where did we leave off? We charted a course through the woods to point the mom to where her son is being held, and it was the white stump, wasn't it? So it ended with the mom venturing into the woods with the dog, with Tank, to try and find her son. Time for waffles and coffee. Oh my god, yes. Okay, so episode 5. Is this from the... Oh, I see. I was like, it's inside out, but it has a little deer on it. That's from the school, isn't it? Ooh, what is this? Cigarette case? Put your faith in Nathan. Ah, with a secret message. We need a letter from Anthony. Is that this? It might be. What is this? Tree rubbings, Henry's note, logging company personnel files. Is that this? That's the shutdown report. We have the beanie, the cigarette case. Damn, that's a thick one. Oh, these are the rubbings for sure. This is Anthony. Oh! Oh! It doesn't start with a letter from Rosemary. These are her journal pages. Oh, shit. What is Henry's note? Is it in the... Is this the note? I don't know. Maybe it'll make sense when we go through it. I don't know what's happening, but I'm entertained. Yeah, it's very fun. I really like this. I'm so happy I decided... Oh, am I putting my hair up? I guess I am. Is it this one? Let's see what Anthony says. Sticks and Stones. 6 and Stones, 15. Oh, shit! Look, can you see that? It's getting all fucked. That's awesome. Oh. Okay. We'll leave that open for now, and then start with Anthony's letter instead of Rosemary's this time. I always forget which way. Okay, that's fully zoomed in, so I'll try and keep it like... I'm always confusing myself about the orientation. Investigator. Hello. I'm just now realizing that I've never properly introduced myself to you. I'm Anthony, and I'm a friend of the Kent family. I need your help, or more accurately, Rosemary needs your help. When Rosemary left, she promised me she'd only be in the woods for a single night, as though that would be any comfort to me at all. Nevertheless, it's been far longer than that, and she still hasn't returned. I've spent the past day practically turning her place upside down looking for contact info, which I eventually discovered once I figured out the password to her laptop. Don't worry, I wasn't trespassing. After Liam disappeared, Rosemary gave me a key to her house so that I could show myself in from time to time, usually just to check in on her and sometimes to help out with the cooking and cleaning when dealing with the investigation got to be too much for her. Speaking of investigations, Sheriff Lanning isn't even returning my calls anymore. Over the course of the past year, an entire family has disappeared on his watch, and he just seems to want to be able to move on from it. I've been searching through the forest alone every day, and I've managed to find a number of notes that seem to have come from Rosemary, alongside a number of items and files that simply shouldn't exist. As if that wasn't already strange enough, in some of the papers I found, Rosemary describes hiding in an abandoned lumber mill. There used to be a lumber mill in the woods, but it was abandoned in the 1950s and demolished over a decade ago. On top of all of these eerie circumstances, it appears as though someone or something has been interfering with Rosemary's personal website. There are new posts being made on a regular basis. I can't even tell if Rosemary has somehow managed to connect to the internet out there, or if it's not her at all, because the text itself appears to be so corrupted. Whenever I try to make it out, my vision goes blurry and I'm overwhelmed with such a profound sense of dread that I reflexively slam my laptop shut. Maybe you'll have better luck making sense of the site. What I have been able to make out from her notes, although it doesn't quite make sense to me, is that Rosemary seems to have written about needing to find a 5-digit code in order to progress on her journey through the woods. Okay, 5-digit code. That's our thing for today. The best and perhaps the only thing that we can do for her right now is to find that code and send it to her. I know that it's a long shot and that it's crazy to ask you to help with any of this at this point, but I'm used to being the crazy one, and if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say that you must be getting used to it too. Maybe Rosemary will still be able to receive information through her tip line at kentcase.com. I have to believe she will be, because it's our only hope at this point. The current password is Sticks and Stones 15. Whatever's happening out there, Rosemary is in imminent danger. There's no time to waste. Please, help me see her through this. Ooh, awesome. I need to sit a little closer to the desk. This ball is hard to balance. When we did the last Blair Witch stream, my back was so sore the next day because I sat on this ball for like 5 hours. Okay, let's see. The next thing on the list is Rosemary's journal pages. So I'm guessing it's these, but I don't know in what order. Okay, I don't know which one. I'm trying to see if one of them is like a promising start, but I'll just start with this one, just a random one. No sign of my boys or of Carver, not yet. It's been slow going in the dark, but I must have traveled at least a few miles north. In the morning, I'll head deeper. For now, Tank and I have made camp. If Hud could see me struggle to set up his old tent, I'd never hear the end of it. Tank is in his element out here. It always surprises me how quickly he takes to these woods. I never had a dog before that didn't overreact to every creak in the distance. He almost seems like he's keeping watch for me. Even when I'm not holding his leash, he just sticks by my side. It started around 3 a.m. Distant first. Voices. Whispering. They sounded so young. I thought of Tristan. But none of the voices were his. How many children are out here? I tried to call out to them, but it came out as a croak. My voice felt trapped far back in my throat. When I was finally able to ask who was there, the voices didn't answer. Maybe they couldn't hear me. They sounded so close, though, like they were just outside my tent. When I unzipped the tent, the whispering faded to silence. I shined my flashlight out, but there was nothing. That's when I noticed Tank was sitting alert. He's usually such a deep sleeper, but he must have heard something too. I only just managed to get him calmed down. Going to try to sleep a little more and leave at sunrise. Just woke up and went outside to find Liam's hat placed neatly by front of the entrance to my tent. Even though I know with total certainty that it's just Carver mocking me, I'm still holding on to it like a totem. I can feel my blood boiling inside of me. Don't know how much sleep I've gotten because the sun still hasn't come up. The clock on my phone must be wrong. It says it's 1 in the afternoon. Doesn't make any sense. Either way, I don't want to sleep anymore. Time to get moving. Okay. Tank started growling at a bush, and when I pointed my flashlight, I saw a pale white hand with only 2 fingers covered in blood. It looked like the hand of a drowned person, like something that hasn't seen sunlight in years. As soon as the beam of my flashlight hit that hand, it flinched away as it made this terrible groaning noise, like an angry animal and a wounded man at the same time. I ran in the opposite direction, and Tank followed. That's when I found this building. It looks abandoned. I'm hunkered down in the entryway for now. The door won't open, but I think there's a window I might be able to get through. Well, I got Tank and myself in, but I managed to cut my leg on a piece of glass that was sticking out of the window pane in the process. Thankfully, I was smart enough to bring a first aid kit. The bleeding hasn't completely stopped yet, and it hurts like hell, but I think I might be okay. I think I'll be able to walk on it. I'm gonna try and explore a little in a few minutes. It looks like this place used to be a logging company. There's an axe embedded in the wall, and most of the furniture has been flipped. Scorch marks on the walls and floors. I found records amongst all of the carnage. They paint a pretty vivid picture of what happened here before all of this. I suppose the woods retook this place after it was abandoned, although I do feel relatively safe in here compared to outside. But I'm gonna need to move on soon. No time to waste. Whoever or whatever he is, I don't care. I can't do this anymore. It's like my mind is playing tricks on me. I think something is out here with me. Something besides Carver, watching me. It's coming closer day by day. I can hear it breathing. I don't know what it's waiting for. There are times when I can see a light through the trees, flickering. Fire. Each time, I've run towards it, hoping it was Carver's campfire. I lower my head and bolt, but the light always burns out just before I can reach it, like a cruel joke. It's the only light I ever see besides my own flashlight. There's no more sun anymore. No more daytime. I can't do this. No, that's enough feeling sorry for myself. I better get moving. Damn, she's out there and it's just night all the time. This is the campfire light again, so we got lucky reading those back to back. I managed to limp up the half-rotten stairs to the rooftop to try and get a lay of the land. At first I saw nothing on the horizon but trees, but then I noticed it. That light again. The flickering light of a campfire. I know where I have to go from here, towards the fire. If Tristan and Liam aren't there, they aren't anywhere. I noticed something else on that rooftop, though. It was the groaning sound of that creature somewhere on the building's perimeter, and then there was the sound of another, and another. I think the building is surrounded. The only way forward is going to be through them. They're scratching at the front door and at the windows, and it's making Tank go absolutely ballistic. My leg hurts. God, I wish I had a cigarette right now. They hate the light, the hand that I saw in the woods, and now these things outside. When I shine my flashlight at an area where they're scratching, they all back away from the light, and even Tank calms down a little, like he senses they're a little further away. I saw a mention of a breaker room in some of the reports, so I tracked it down. If I can manage to get inside, I'm going to flood this place with light. It might clear enough of a path for me to run straight to Carver's campfire. Thing is, the door's been outfitted with a hefty combination lock. Oh, that's why we need the code. Nothing can ever be easy, can it? To add insult to injury, I thought I'd managed to find a pack of cigarettes right outside the breaker room, but the second I picked it up, I could tell it was empty. 5 digits. With any luck, it's hidden around here somewhere. I better get started. I wonder what happened. He's trying to scare me. After I packed up camp, Tank and I walked for hours and hours. Okay, so this one was probably note number 2. The deeper we walked into the woods, the less I could see the sky through the canopy of leaves above me. I couldn't even hear the wind. That's when we found a clearing surrounded by tall, thin trees whose trunks were engraved like headstones. I didn't understand what all of the carvings on them said, but the messages on a few of these trees couldn't be clearer. I took some rubbings of the carvings just to prove to myself that I wasn't seeing things. It's a good thing that I did, because they disappeared the moment I looked away from them. I think he's trying to make me turn back. It's not going to happen. What would I be going back to? There's nothing there. Not anymore. Tank is exhausted. We're stopping more for his benefit than mine, though I admit it's getting to me. First Hudson, then Liam and Tristan, all my boys gone. When I get our sons back, I'll never take my eyes off them again, Hud. I promise. Just a little further. I know it. The voices are back. They sound closer. The sun is going to rise again. I thought it was almost dawn again. I was wrong. It's just dark now. It's just dark. Something just tried to get in. Ooh! I woke up to the sound of Tank barking and realized that something was dragging against the tent, scraping against the plastic. I kicked at it, but I just felt air where my boot should have connected with flesh. It stopped scratching, though. Sometimes I can see that my phone catches signal for a moment, like the outside world is reaching in to pull me back, but inevitably the bars disappear and the outside world is pushed away again. By the woods. By him or by her? Okay, so I think this was like note number 2. This is where she finds the logging company, so I think it's before that. And then... So she hears the whispering in the tent, then gets assaulted in the tent, then finds the logging company, sees the campfire light, and then she gets on the roof, and now she needs the code to get the generator running. So these are the rubbings that she... I think the numbers are written in pencil by whoever... Oh, it opens, actually. By whoever played it before me, so they kind of had a system. So we can stick to that. We can just... They're losing faith in you. We can decode it at the same pace. You're too foolish to accept fate. Your children have. Your husband has. Now it's your turn. Okay. Here we are. There's our code. Right where we left it. Okay, so we're starting with this one. Can I move this? I wonder. I think I can. Hell yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, this is probably you, isn't it? Yeah. You... This one symbol always reminds me of Dead Space, because that is in the Unitology. It's the same... I think it's an E in Unitology. What is that one? Is that a T? Yeah. You pretend... Yes. You pretend to be so... What is that? 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 Pretend to be so... What strong, but... Which one is this again? I. But I see you. I see you tremble when you think you're alone. Damn, I'm starting to like memorize this entire font now. That's definitely quick. You pretend to be so strong, but I see you tremble when you think you're alone. Okay, number 2. The earbuds. If you go to my About tab here on Twitch, I have them listed there. I always forget the name. But yeah, they're really good. I really like these, and they're only like, I think they're like $50 or $60. So a little expensive, but for high quality earbuds that are not inner ear, they're great. Okay, next one. You will not win. You will not win. She is the only one. She's the only one who ever wins in the woods. You're too foolish to accept fate. Your children have. Your husband has. Now it's your turn. Okay. It's for sure a thin line between Carver doing things for the witch or if the witch herself has decided to be more directly involved. Yeah. I mean, Carver is directly following her orders, right? So she's definitely involved pretty closely. Okay. There is... Which one is this again? Is that B? Nobody. There's nobody left for you. Is this little circle part of a letter? I'm looking at this one. There's like a little circle here. Don't know why though. It's time to let go. And then 5. Welcome. Is that a C? Yeah. Okay. Welcome. Welcome home. Creepy. Can you imagine if you see welcome home carved on a tree? And then 6 is nobody. Which one's that? A? Nobody and nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's my little flashlight? There you are. Just check to be safe. If there's anything hidden. They didn't do any blacklight last episode though. But I feel like it might come full circle at some point. I wonder why Carver wants this family so badly. So when the parents were younger, the dad accidentally did a blood sacrifice at the White Trunk, where is basically Witch HQ. He cut himself accidentally and put his blood on the stump. And then he wanted to hide his love letter for her. So he hid it in the stump before he moved on. And then the witch kind of like helped him out and made them fall in love with each other. And they had kids. So now she basically is here to collect the debt. So she killed the dad, but I think she was actually trying to kill one of the kids. And the dad jumped in front of him, like saved the kid and died instead. So now the witch still wants to collect the debt. So she's trying to get the kids. She took the kids. And now the mom is like sticking her nose into the witch's business. So now the witch is like, fuck you, I'll take you too. Coming to my home. Let's see. So that was the tree rubbing. So now Henry's note, which might be this one, but I'm not sure. But let's have a look at this. I can hear those things at night, slinking around, scratching up against the walls, moaning like dying men. They want us to know that the only thing keeping them out is the light. If anything ever happens to the breaker room, if the power ever goes out, then that's it. We lose the only thing that keeps them away at night, and then they'll get us just like they got James. They called it an accident in the official reports, but we all know that isn't true. I can hear their screams when I'm out there, the people who have died and who are dying and who haven't died yet and who will never die, ripples through time, stuck in place like the rings of a tree. James is one of them now. Maybe he always has been. Everything's all mixed up, even my brain. I can't remember my life before I walked into this forest. I can't remember the faces of my brother and sister, and I can barely tell when I'm awake or when I'm dreaming anymore. The fear is too much, the sound of their scratching at the window panes and her whispering in my ear. But all that matters is that I remember the 5 numbers. As long as I follow 5 steps, I'll always be able to reach the light. Oh, and then it's like... the letters are all jumbled up. So, like, that's definitely the first word. But then the rest, I'm like, that? Is there a pattern to it? The trees that bleed? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see it now. The trees that bleed like wounded men. But then it starts with an A. Adam? Oh, Adam lost as much as the stopped? Oh, that could be it, yeah. Clock. Stopped clock. Double N-E-W. When? Oh, maybe this is not double N, this is H-N, yeah. Adam lost as much as the stopped clock when he fell asleep. What? Can you guys see it properly, actually? I can zoom in more. He lost time while sleeping. Sounds like a bit of riddle. Yeah, so it's 5 bits. So this is the code. So each entry will be 1 digit, and that's the code that Rosemary needs to turn on the generator to get into the room, the generator room. Strength in numbers. Oh my god, yeah, you guys are better than this than I am. There's strength in numbers. I was gonna say hammer, but that's not it. What's a capital H, right? The Harmon? No? Oh, yeah, it's a name, because that's why the H is capitalized. But the Herman? Something to... I was gonna say to sing the way, but that's not it. All the fires he lit to keep them away. Oh, that's the 4th one? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good one. All the fires he lit to keep them away. One quee of feber het dolana saw denufo. Simlish. Was... I can only figure out the short words, and then the longer ones I'm like, it's just letters to me. I can't make anything of it. 1 week before? Oh, yeah. 1 week before the something was founded. Woodland? Oh, you're right. 1 week before the wood... Oh, that's definitely a number then. 1 week before the woodland was founded. Okay, so this is very important. This is going to be our code for later. Nathan's cigarette established December 27, 1902. Nathan's Cigarettes is a proud family-owned and family-friendly company. Nathaniel and Sophia Herman, alongside their children, Una, Julian, and Mary, are committed to rolling the freshest and most delectable cigarettes. Don't smoke, please. We kindly invite you to kick back, light up, and join the Herman family. And then it says 91121-238. So that's definitely a hint for later. Okay, but we haven't finished reading everything yet, so we should just get through everything first. Okay, I'll do the thick one first, because this is a massive one. So these are incident reports. So this is accidents that happened at the Creekside Timber Company. 1956, violence. Loggers Daniel Calder and Edward McCune engaged in a vicious fistfight today during their lunch break. I can recount what I saw of the fight, that Mr. Calder stormed into the lunchroom and seemingly unprovoked attacked Mr. McCune. The fight quickly escalated, and the onlookers certainly did not help. We have had fights here before, but this particular altercation was remarkably vicious, with both men sustaining severe bruising, multiple cuts, and several deep bite marks. Mr. Calder also appears to have cracked a rib and has lost 4 of his teeth. 4? Ooh. As I was pulling the two men apart, I could hear Mr. Calder shouting at Mr. McCune that he needed to stop talking about the children, that she could hear everything that he said, and that he didn't want to draw her attention. Both men were sent home to cool off, and their pay has been docked. Damn. So wait. So Mr. Calder believes in the witch, that she can hear everything they say. I noticed evidence of trespassing in the logging area while doing normal rounds just before sundown. I investigated a series of scuffling noises that began inside the mill and moved outdoors. I pointed my flashlight into the woods and thought, though I could see nothing with its beam, the noises continued. What began as a slow rustling I might have mistaken for raccoons, to me seemed to change into something resembling muffled voices. Taking one of the high-powered equipment lights in an attempt to frighten off any potential trespassers, I shone it in the direction of the North Hill, where I caught temporary sight of the intruder. I glimpsed the intruder for a moment and saw only a large, pale person. At the distance I saw him, I couldn't tell if he was wearing tight skin-toned clothing or if he was nude. He was, however, moving incredibly fast at the crest of the North Hill. The being ran over the hill and further into the woods. Could that have been Carver? Carver's really tall, right? Amelia Hooper came running into the mill from her lunch break, which she'd taken in town, and reported to me that someone had vandalized every single car in the mill's parking lot. I followed her out into the lot and found that she was right. Every single car and truck in the lot was covered bumper to bumper in dents the size of baseballs, and there was glass all over the gravel. And around every car were small stones. It's conceivable that someone could have wound up a good pitch and dented metal with rocks of those sizes, but who could it have been? And when? Even with all the machinery going, someone would have noticed. There are always men working near the front of the building, which is filled with windows. I even found a few who said they were right before Amelia came in, and they didn't see or hear a thing. Strangely, though, there was one pile of rocks that had been stacked perfectly right in front of James Berman's car. What a thing. I wonder why James. Verbal statement of Edward Daniels. Thanks for taking this down, Mr. Martell. I don't know if I could. So, anyway, James was there, right next to Henry Kent, when it happened. He looked kind of shell-shocked, James. I don't know if anything brought it on. I just happened to be carrying another axe down to Adam. I saw James out of the corner of my eye just standing there. I didn't know what he was up to, if something was happening, but he looked off into the woods. It seemed like he was listening to something. I saw him do this little nod, and then James just jammed his right arm straight into the chipper and kept pressing it in. He just kept pressing it further and further down, even when a few of the men grabbed onto him and tried to pull him away. He'd mangled his arm almost up to the shoulder by the time someone had the wherewithal to switch the damn thing off. We tried to help to stop the bleeding, but he just kept struggling and yelling something about doing what's asked of him. He bled out just before the ambulance arrived. It happened at 3 o'clock on the dot. Did you notice? Look at your watch. Every clock in this place stopped working the second his hand hit those blades. Oy. Wait, was that the same James? Yeah. So the rocks were stacked in front of his car, and then the same day, he put his hand in the chipper. Oh, this is a big one. A verbal statement from Adam Barrett. I've been having dreams about James's death almost every single night since it happened. Dreams where I can always hear a man calling for help from somewhere in the forest. Maybe it's James. I can always hear him screaming, and even though I can't see him, I somehow know in my heart that he's trapped underneath a gigantic white tree. Sometimes in these dreams I run into the forest to find him, but no matter which direction I go, I never can. And whenever I wake up from one of these dreams, I always find leaves and sticks in my bed, like I've been sleepwalking. Except my feet are never dirty. And listen, I know that this might seem like something I shouldn't be coming to you about, John, but we've worked together for nearly 10 years and I need someone to know that lately I haven't just been hearing the screaming in my dreams at night. I've been hearing it in the distance, whenever I go out in the woods. None of the other men can hear them. Nobody will go out to look for where they're coming from with me. And there's no way in hell I'm going out there alone. So I've just been going about my work, day after day, trying to ignore the screaming. Gotta tell you, I'm nearly at the end of my rope. It's not just the screaming. I've been seeing body parts everywhere over the past few weeks, and nobody else can see them. Severed arms lying on the ground when I'm outside, seared fingers floating in my coffee. Ugh. Sometimes I look down to see my own hands falling off as though they're gangrenous, and then I blink and they're fine. Last night, I dreamed that my right thumb, forefinger, and middle finger were collected by a creature that was as pale as a corpse. Wait, didn't we see a pale hand with only 2 fingers sticking out of a bush? I thought that might have been James, since it was wearing his clothes, but I could tell for sure because its face had rotten off. The other boys are dreaming about things like that too. They don't say it aloud, but I can tell from how quickly they change the subject when I try to tell them about my own dreams. Maybe they're seeing things during the day too and just won't admit it. I can't be the only one losing my mind around here. Wasn't it the... He said, "Gimme your fingies." Didn't she see, like... Tank started growling at a bush, and when I pointed my flashlight, I saw a pale white hand with only 2 fingers covered in blood. Looked like the hand of a drowned person. Maybe he drowned? The person who just saw the hand, or trying to take his fingers? Edward McCune was discovered in the late evening setting fire to various areas of the lumber mill. I had forgotten something at the mill, and when I entered the building, I discovered McCune pouring gasoline onto a table and holding a lighter. I moved to confiscate both the gasoline and the lighter immediately, and he did not resist. I started pressing him about his actions, and he just calmly asked me to help him. He said he was doing his part to keep the boys safe and that he was almost finished, but that he had one more fire to set before the building was safe. I realized the implication of his statement and immediately began to run through the building. When I found him, began stomping out the first fire, which was thankfully relatively small, McCune became angry. He tried to physically prevent me from extinguishing the flames, and then, when it became clear that I could overpower him, he tried to beg me to leave the fires burning instead. At that point, I decked him square across the face and he passed out. I left him on the ground and continued to check the building for fires. All in all, I managed to find and put out 4 separate fires in total. All the fires he lit to keep them away. So that's 4 is 4. Okay. Once I was sure the building was safe, I found McCune again. He was right where I'd left him, though he had regained consciousness. He seemed unfazed, even offered to provide an explanation for his activities. "It's not safe out there in the dark, Johnny. I was just making it okay so the boys could go to work in the morning. You know, if we let it stay dark in here for too long, they're going to creep in." When I asked him specifically what it was that he was trying to prevent, he seemed unable to put it into words. He was only able to tell me it was something related to the woods. It practically goes without saying, but I, of course, terminated McCune's employment and reported him to the police for arson. Okay, so we have our first number there. New page. So we need 5 digits. Fires. So that's 1. What was the rest again? Wounded men. Trees. The trees that bleed like wounded men. Okay, so that's 1. Like wounded men. 2. Adam lost as much Oh, the stopped clock. Didn't they all stop at 3? So all the clocks stopped at 3. Oh. 3. Okay, number 3. The Herman family needs to be together to light the way. 1 week before the woodland was founded. Oh, the Woodland Company? No. It's the Creekside Timber Company. Okay, well at least now we have them written down properly. And we have 2 numbers so far, so that's good. And we still haven't read everything. We read the incident reports, but there's still this report, or report on working conditions by Mallard. I was initially called in by the state of Maryland to perform an incident analysis in the case of a worker's death at Creekside Timbers Company's Black Hill Forest facility. During my inspection, I noted concrete widespread evidence of failure to observe basic security protocols, unsafe working conditions throughout the facility, and a pattern of wildly inappropriate behavior from nearly all of the site's employees. I have also noted some sort of hysteria affecting the workers, the psychological effects of which seem to predate the death of James Berman. Did Adam lose 3 fingers? No, I think he lost, they said he lost up to his shoulder, so it's probably not him. The Herman family are 5 people. 5 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be, yeah. Was that number 5? Yeah. I'll write it down. Okay. Inspection of wood chipper. I focused much of my initial inspection on the wood chipper involved in the Creekside employee's death. A thorough examination revealed nothing faulty with the machine itself. However, during my inspection, I discovered no fewer than 7 children's handprints upon the lower third of the machine's outer body. Foreman John Martell claimed to have no knowledge of any children's presence and further claimed that the machine had not been touched since the accident. I find myself dubious of this claim on both fronts, as the handprints appear to be fresh. Whatever substance they were made from was wet, viscous, and warm to the touch. The discovery of these handprints prompted me to search the entire facility for further evidence of the presence of children. I soon came to observe additional handprints inside the break room, foreman's office, 2 bathrooms, and most perplexingly of all, on the ceiling directly above the secretary's desk. It was at this point in my inspection when, as I looked up at the handprint on the ceiling, a rusted light fixture very nearly fell upon my head. Had I been standing 3 feet to the left, I would have sustained a grave injury. Although the handprints covered the facility, no further evidence of the presence of children turned up during my inspection. However, the evidence of the presence of minors on the premises is irrefutable and damning. To allow young children on the premises at all, let alone near such a dangerous piece of machinery, is an unconscionable oversight on the part of Creekside management. Okay, the psychological effects upon employees. During my inspection of Creekside Timber Company, I also observed significant and alarming abnormalities in the behavior of its employees. On my tour with Foreman John Martell, I heard multiple workers whisper things to the effect of me not belonging there. That I could at least understand, being in a small town and with the recent accident, I represented the possibility of a shutdown and therefore a lost paycheck. But some of those remarks moved beyond simple hostility and into the nonsensical and unnerving. I heard one man say that I should stand in the corner, ooh, and another that I would listen when she tells me to leave. I have also repeatedly observed workers behaving negligently. Multiple men appeared to be staring off into the woods while operating dangerous machinery such as wood chippers and saws, and while swinging axes. When I approached to reprimand them for their actions, these workers all responded with slight confusion, followed by disbelief and denial that they had indeed been staring into the distance at all. I also observed one worker counting his own 10 fingers. He did this multiple times. That's OCD. It's like, he's not haunted, he just got OCD. He would seem satisfied with this number and then count again. When I asked him what he was doing, he seemed to snap out of a stupor and said, in all seriousness, just wanted to make sure it was all still there. Many of the men I spoke to over the course of my inspection seemed to have bought into a superstition about rocks, of all things. They claimed to fear the appearance of small piles of stones as omens of death and injury. I happened to find one such pile just outside my own automobile. Oh, you're fucked. As I finished my inspection. There were no signs of damage, simply piles of rocks outside my door, on my hood, and on my roof. I can only assume this was a pathetic attempt at a practical joke by a disgruntled employee. Oh. Additionally, nearly everyone on the company's payroll reports missing time, of which there is seemingly some evidence. Mr. Martel showed me employee complaints with time discrepancies no one could understand. The time shown on the cards did not match what employees reported, nor the amount of work they were supposed to have completed in that time. Others have worked for what feels to be an entire day, but returned with no more timber than they chop in an hour. Men shown clocking in for only an hour claim to have worked their entire shifts and have returned with a day's worth of wood. When I asked Mr. Martel if this discrepancy could be the result of human error or if he could have found himself the butt of a practical joke, he said he trusted his men implicitly. An inspection of the timekeeping machine also proved it to be in perfect working order. Possibly toxic substance. Found at the Creekside Timber Company was what many of the men have referred to as strange slime leaking from the trees. I interviewed the man who, weeks before Berman's death, first discovered the substance, a logger named Adam Barrett. He described an incident in which he and co-worker Simon Donner came across trees that were, to use his word, bleeding. By his account, 8 separate trees... Oh, the trees bleed! 8 separate trees in the same vicinity discharged the substance in place of sap. Barrett and Donner then marked any affected trees with red X's. The trees that bleed like wounded men. 8. Number 1. The men could not replicate this phenomena for me. They brought me to the allegedly affected trees and, observing the proper safety protocol, proceeded to peel back the initial layer of bark, only to find regular sap. I watched them cut into every marked tree, only to find nothing out of the ordinary. The men did, however, claim to have kept some of this dark, mucus-like material in a jar and produced it from the safe in the foreman's office. The loggers all insisted it came from one of the trees they attempted to cut down, but to me it smelled like little more than scorched engine oil. For the reasons herein compiled, it is my conclusion that the Creekside Timber Company should immediately cease all present and future operations at their Black Hills Forest facility until such a time that a more thorough analysis of both the building and the employees can be completed and a safe reopening can be confirmed. I will be sending copies of my recommendation to all pertinent state officials as well as to the company itself. Damn, okay. So right now, I'm only missing the third one, which is strength in numbers. Wait, the Herman family. Oh, so that's 5. Oops. So the 5th one then we're missing. 1 week before the woodland was founded. The woodland? The woods themselves or the company? Yeah, what's the woodland? Rosemary describes hiding in an abandoned mill. It was abandoned in the 1950s, demolished. Oh, also on a kind of related note to this, I'm reading the book right now that someone recommended a while ago that is called A Lonely Broadcast right now. And it's very, like, if you like this vibe, what we're reading right now, it is exactly like this. It's like a lady in a fire watch tower in the middle of the woods, and she is doing like a radio station, but she needs to warn the town if a fog rolls in, and the fog is like dangerous. There's something hiding in the fog, but it's like people getting lost in the woods, and like it's exactly like they send search parties out, but they don't find anything. Then suddenly they find something, then they come back for it, and it's gone. Like locations are weird when you go into the woods and stuff. I'm really into it so far. Okay. So, isn't it just 1 digit? Maybe the answer is in the clue. 1 week is 1. That's true. I wonder why the Herman family is mentioned. Like, we've never heard of them before, right? Put your faith in Nathan. Sounds so ominous almost. Don't forget to check the website. Yes, let's do that. the weird website that's freaking out. I can't really... I can see this message here says, please help, please help, please help. Let's see. I finally have a connection. The hotspot I bought is working, but I don't know for how long. It's connected for seconds at a time before, but never long enough for me to send a post. If I don't come back, I know that I went out fighting. Give all of my books to Anthony and everything else to my sister. The map was right, the path was sure, but the land is wrong. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. No sun, no service, no salvation. Just static and sadness. Where's the sun? Where are the children? Where am I? Who am I? What am I? Please help. And then... this, I think, is just jumbled. I can't read anything from that. I don't know if you guys can see. Can I zoom in on it? Yeah. Like here I can read please help, but here I can't make anything of this. Oh, we can only do what she lets us do. So these are jumbled, but it does say something. What's the start of it say? We cannot leave. We cannot leave. Yeah, we cannot die. We can only do what she lets. Tells. Oh, tells us. We can only do what she tells us. Yeah. Cool. I told you all day we're cursed and none of you blinked an eye. First the husband dies in that horrific accident, then the children go missing, and now the wife can't be found. It's more than bad luck. Rosemary's gone now too? When is the last time anyone saw or heard from her? What is the sheriff doing to address this new development? How has he let things get this dire? The sheriff's uncle would never have stood for any of this. Emmett Lanning would have fought tooth and nail to save the entire family from the very beginning. This town has gone nowhere but downhill ever since West took over the mantle of sheriff. Maybe Rosemary realized that there was nothing left for her here and moved away, just like her older sister. Isn't that the most rational explanation? A few days ago I saw her car parked by the edge of the woods, completely empty. Got a rational explanation for that. I reported it to Sheriff Lanning, of course, but he just seemed sad and tired to hear about it. Come on, Karen, you don't really think the family's cursed, do you? What does the sheriff say? She hasn't been gone too long. There really is no reason to panic. If you ask me, Rosemary started this whole thing, getting the town worked up and nervous when she's been the one behind it all. I mean, look at the facts. We all know that family's been falling apart since Hudson passed. Then the children go missing, and all of a sudden she goes missing too? I smell foul play. We spent all this time out checking the woods. Who's to say we shouldn't have been looking in the Kent family basement this whole time? Maybe Rosemary's finally finished with the sick plan she'd been plotting out all along, and now she's halfway across the country in a stolen car, a new name, and a different haircut. I'd bet anything that one of us is next. Family cursed or not, there's no way that this horrible wave of tragedy is going to end with the Kents. Everyone needs to calm down. Sure, weird things are happening, but weird things have always happened. My family has lived here for generations. We've always minded our own business and kept our heads down, and we've all been fine. No matter how strange things get, as long as we avoid going into the forest after dark, we'll be fine. I'm sure that's where the Kent boys went astray, the poor things. Maybe it's where Rosemary and Hud went wrong too. Curtis is right. The worst thing that have happened to folks, all the well and truly unexplainable deaths and disappearances, and even the sightings of unnatural creatures, all of those have only happened past dark. We're fine as long as we're safe in our homes by dusk. I've seen everybody talking over... Oh, this is Anthony. I've seen everybody talking over these past few days, and I feel the need to remind you all that Rosemary is still out in there in those woods. We can still find her. She would look for any of us if we went missing, and you all know it. Rosemary organized the past 4 town festivals, practically all by herself. She was there to help clean up after the museum caught fire. She is one of the biggest hearts out of all of us. She's always been there for us. We need to be there for her. I'm sorry for your loss, Anthony, but I think that you need to take a deep breath and come to terms with reality. We still haven't gotten any information about the goings-on of the forest or any of the odd occurrences on the town. It is unfortunate what has happened to the Kents, but we need to come to move on from this terrible tragedy. Damn, they're moving on so quick. She's been gone for a couple days. Disappearances aren't new here. This panic isn't new. The town is a graveyard. Our tombs are marked. It's only a matter of time. Whether we stay out or not, the woods will take us all. Damn. Okay. Any new photos? No. So then it's time for the tip line. So we need to give her the code. So it's 8354, and then 1 week before the Woodlands was founded. Could it be... Did we see a founding date of anything anywhere? Maybe the cigarette company? It does say founded 1902, December 27. But that doesn't make sense. 1 week earlier would then be December 20. So it would be 2 digits. So it's probably that, not that. The hat, maybe? Oh. It says LHK on it. Isn't that his name? Oh. South Woodland Academy. Founded August 9th, 1789. Holy shit! It's in the beanie. Okay, so 1 week earlier is August 2nd. So 2? Damn. Did not think it would be in the beanie. So number 2, we're gonna go with that. Do we get a reply? We sure do, from Rosemary.
Oh, God. It's you. I don't know how you managed to get in touch, but you've got a hell of a sense of timing. Are these what I think they are? How did you even know that? You know,
It's all scrambled.
I'm just going to go with it. Everything in my life is already so goddamn bizarre. You know, I was about to try every possible combination on the lock until I got 100,000 possible combinations. Would have taken me a long time.
Is she getting in? She's putting in the code.
He's right. Okay.
Yeah, she's in a building that doesn't exist anymore.
Let's get these lights on.
That's creepy. That gave me goosebumps.
I'm outside. There was a flash of light, and then it was dark, and now everything is gone. And
She time traveled.
I'm outside. Tank!
No, the dog! Is the dog still in the past?
Where are you, boy? Tank! Please, come back! I see a light.
Oh. Is it the camp light? The campfire
It's
light?
not far. It looks like a campfire.
Oh.
I'm going to get closer to get a better look. There are people around the fire. 3 of them. It has to be my boys. And Carver. I'm going to get them and take them.
Yeah, it's just a recording. We're just listening to this. It was 3 minutes. Ooh, that was so exciting. Oh my god. Oh my god. One more episode. We cracked the code really quickly, I feel. We were just like, that's it. Except for the woodland. That was thumbs up. Amazing. Whoever put that together, that we had to look in the beanie. That's cool. That was awesome.